Hey, welcome everybody to Bridging the Seen and Unseen. I am your host. I am Shane McLean. How are you, Miss Gwen?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It has been a long week. Let me clear the whole rabbit in the room here. Last week I went to dialysis and I told the nurse there not to take out any kind of fluids on me, which I never put fluids on. Well, she didn't listen to me, and she started pulling fluids off. Well, about halfway through, um, my blood pressure dropped, and I started feeling like I was getting extremely hot
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. And then from there, it just all downfalled from there. And so by Monday, coming in, I felt like death. And my cat was sitting on me, and she was circling around me, and she kept going up and sniffing right here on my chin and inside of my mouth, and she was going spastic. She was going crazy. And it was like really concerning because I had never seen her do that before. And
Mm-hmm.
so I finally looked at Angie and I said, we need to go to the hospital. And we went to the hospital. They put me on the emergency breathing treatment. And my potassium, which is supposed to be around, 3.5 or 4 in your potassium, my
Right.
potassium was 9.
Oh man,
And
I was
so,
worried to death.
and,
Honestly.
and the doctor said that if I would have waited one more day, I'd
Mm-hmm.
be dead.
Yeah,
So,
I was.
so,
I was scared.
so thank God, I'm still here, um, and I'm ready for this show. I'm ready. I'm excited about having this guest on because uh, I think the knowledge that this person has towards this particular subject that I want to talk about, I think he's got a lot of it. So let's bring on Tom Springer.
Hey everyone, how you doing?
Hey,
Hey.
buddy, how are you?
Good. Now that I can hear everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Always gremlins. Always
Don't worry,
gremlins.
it's always the gremlins, man. And it usually
Uh,
happens like with the last person that comes on. It usually always happens. Sometimes it happens when I come on, but it's
Yeah.
usually the last person that comes on that the gremlins like to try to latch on to.
yeah, and for me, it's a known issue
Mm-hmm.
that I have this tendency. I literally keep shungite all around my console because I have a tendency to break internet when I'm on. So
We
Wow.
about broke
wow.
the internet that night. Remember?
oh yeah, we did. I know. See, that's what I'm saying. I think it's something with me. It's a good thing I don't have to
Yeah.
do anything else.
Yeah. Well, Tom, we always start the show out. We always start the show, and everybody knows pretty much who you are and everything, but just tell everybody who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Sure. First off, can you all hear me okay? I'm
Yes,
actually
sir.
Yes.
controlling everything by speaker volume, not by my keyboard right now. My keyboard wanted to fight with me. So thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
My name is Tom Springer, and I'm a little bit of everything. I'm kind of a catch-all for everything, is what I'm learning rapidly. I am what I call a practicing intuitive, and it's simply because I walked into this about 4 years ago, learning that I had abilities.
You said 4 years? 4 years ago?
4 years ago, yes,
Mm-hmm.
sir.
Wow. Okay.
So it's been 4 years since I walked into my abilities. While I was on an investigation, that's when I learned I had them. And it wasn't even my investigation. I just went with some buddies to see what they did. And it turned out we played with what I learned I can do and what I couldn't do ever since then. And here I am 4 years later, and I'm still developing more and more things, which is kind of fun to play with and figure out. But I'm also what you do. I'm also a show host. I do a live stream as well called Stuff I Never Learned from a School Book, and it was
Hmm.
perfectly fitting.
Which I'm trying to get him to come to the dark side with us.
Yeah,
See,
come on. You need to come over here to this network, man, because I think it would blow up because we need a show like that on.
Yeah, it's a discussion that Gwen and I are having slowly over time. But the show may be going through a transition as well. So we'll see what happens to it. And that's kind of what I got to talk to Gwen about offline, to kind of throw new ideas around that I may be having. Because I actually did belong to a network once, but I separated from them due to controlling issues. And I did not like that. So I was like, nope, I need to be able to run free and do my own thing and kind of not hold restrictions. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant, but Gwen and I will talk it through and see what comes up on that other side and see what kind of freedom she's done. With me, I tell you what, if you bring me onto the show, she's really going to have bring someone on that literally knows how to herd cats, because that's what it's going to happen.
That's me. That's what I do. That's what I do.
Hey, look.
I was watching them. I was watching them all around you. I saw that.
Yeah. I love it.
But no,
Tom, I got like 20 of them in here.
He really does.
Yeah, I actually lived on a farm when I was growing up, when I was younger, and we had cats all over the place, and they were fantastic. My last cat, I had one cat. I had one cat when I joined the military, and stayed with me the whole time I was through the military. And not too long ago, she passed. But she turned to be 29 years old, so she was old.
29 years in regular years?
In regular years, yes. 29 years old. Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep. So tell your cats to step it up.
Yeah. Y'all hear that? He's got one that had 29 years. And y'all better not think about passing to that other side yet, man, because I don't even want to have that conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm prior military, as you can tell by me saying that comment. Like I said, about 4 years ago, I stepped into this. I'm part indigenous as well as part Norse, so I'm a very interesting combination of background, and so it's just it's interesting to see. Hi, Raven. It's interesting to see what's been going on as everything starts to develop, and my abilities don't seem to. I am probably one of the laziest people that you will find when it comes to working with my ability. I don't meditate. I don't really do anything. And the way I've been learning for these past 4 years, if I can do something or not, is I don't practice. Someone says, hey, can you do this? And my spirit guides, whatever you want to call them, will instantly show that I can do that. Go, yeah, you can do that. And then I know how to do it. It's really that quick. So, and that's kind of how it's been in everything I've been learning how to do. We're chalking it up to the fact that it's all my previous lives that I've done all this for, and I'm just rapidly remembering them.
So are you more shamanistic, or are you a little bit of shaman, a little bit of Norse? I mean, like,
I'm a mutt, is the best way to say it.
Because those two are completely different.
They are completely different, but there are a lot of similarities. Let me tell you. And so I know of my indigenous background. I know some about it. I know what tribes I was. I know everything like that. But pretty much everyone on that side of that family is passed. So I can't dig more into it unless
reach out. Yeah.
And then my north side is where I know more of it, because there's still some people alive for me to talk to about that. But for the most part, it's passing of information in very small bits and pieces that I received from loved ones who knew my family or were alive when I was talking to them about it, but I wasn't fully into it yet like I am now. So I really wasn't doing the research. So now I'm just off of what I've heard in the past and what I still hear from other family members, but they're long lost, distant relatives that I'm getting the information from right now. But so I'm on the search. I have someone who is actually putting me in touch with some of the places to look at, who to get, like the native bureaus and stuff like that, everything else to kind of reach out to and try to get a lineage going on. But so I know I am. I mean, I want to say accidentally, but it must have been done for a reason. But you can see I have the bear paw, but then I also have the cross on my arm, and then I have my North sign on my arm. And I didn't realize until after I had all three of them done that I put my entire lineage on my arm.
I think it's awesome.
The cross is because I grew up Pentecostal Christian because my grandfather was a Pentecostal preacher. So I did not realize they put my entire lineage on one arm until I just had my hand done about a year ago. And I went, holy crap, that's my entire lineage right there on one arm. I didn't even pay attention to it till after it was done. And I was like, well, that must have been done for a reason. So yeah, that's
awesome. That's awesome. That's first of all, I want you to know, I'm also Christian. I am a priest. I am an exorcist with the Order of the Archangels. I am part of Knights Templar Independent Christian Ministries.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So yeah, we are spread out all over the world, from Africa to Australia, to Uganda, Nigeria, the UK. I mean, we are everywhere. So
you have a footprint, yes.
yeah. So I'm very familiar, and I'm very interested in, like, because now you were talking about your family tree and everything that goes like that. How would that work, being like indigenous, and Norse? I mean, would they be two separate trees, or how would you be able to link them together?
Mother on one side, father on the other. So they're basically.
So one is Indian and one is.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. All right.
So two different trees, but rooting me into my one tree system. So
There you go.
probably the best way to say it.
That's
Hey, let
awesome.
me tell Shane real quick. Shane's not able. He's on his phone. He's not able to see the comments. Janet, Alicia, Raven. Let's see. Marla.
Hey guys.
Marla
They're
Russell,
all.
yeah, Raven. Yep.
Yeah, they're all glad that you are better, including Janet Ramsey. Is Shane
Thank you
glad
guys.
you're better? And of course, everybody's saying hey. So thanks, guys.
Yep, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys all for all your comments and support and everything. I've never had so many people reach out during that time, but I really appreciate it. Now, Tom, I see some of these videos that you put, and the one that intrigued me the most was you walking with Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Now, do you have? Now, I've been wanting for a long time to have somebody come on to talk about cryptids, elementals, and things like that. And Gwen kind of told me that's right up your alley. So I would like to spend some time, if you can tell me what are your thoughts on some cryptids, elementals.
So I can give you. I'll have to kind of caveat this. Gwen's correct. I'm very good on the elemental side of the house because I can see, hear, and talk to them just like I am you and Gwen right now. Mm-hmm. The cryptid side house, I know, but I'm not an active cryptid researcher or hunter like a lot of people are. I've been on a few shows where we've talked about them because I do have a background in them. I'm just despite the beard and the way it looks, I'm actually a self-proclaimed nerd.
Yeah, but your mind is very creative, my man.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, I've actually found this new AI site I've been using, and
I know. I watch them all.
We both love it. Yes.
I've actually built 3 more out, and I posted another one today.
Your spaceship one?
That was a couple. Today was a portal one.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah, when you touched it in and you were like, wow. Yeah, I saw that one. But I like the spaceship one, man, where you're sitting there and there's like what is it? A bear and
it's a werewolf and a gnome.
yeah. Like who thinks of stuff like that, man? That's great.
I have a couple more, and it actually has I haven't put it out yet, but I'll give you a preview of it. It's actually an alien shaking hands with the Bigfoot, and the alien looks at the Bigfoot and goes, "I thought you'd be taller," and the Bigfoot looks at the alien and goes, "I thought you'd be shinier." So yeah, it's just a little stuff I've been playing with lately, and they're just little 10-second clips that I'm building out right now. But I'm expanding out. But I do have to go back to what you're asking for. I do have a cryptid knowledge, and I went on. I'm going to do a shameless plug here for somebody else, but there's a lady, her name is Jessica Jones. She's also known as a cryptid huntress. And she actually has a team that goes out and they actively grid out land and do researches and everything else and stuff like that. She's fantastic. And I went on her show. We had a really good talk about some stuff. And I brought up a couple of the different cryptids. And she was like, I've been doing this for 20 some odd years and I've never heard of those cryptids. What the hell? And I was like, well, this is just stuff I know that I've researched. And I just kind of remember a lot when I read. So it's just a lot of research that I'm doing, but I haven't been on a cryptid hunt or a cryptid research. I hate saying the word hunt because I'm prior military and I was a sniper, so I hunted for a living. So I don't like thinking that I'm hunting Bigfoot. I want to say I'm researching or something else Bigfoot. I'm not, or any other cryptids. So I use the word hunt to make it simpler for other people, but please know I have no intention to hurt them the way I did bad people when they did bad things.
Yeah, of course. Now, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Bigfoot like that? Because, like I have my conception of it, because it's like you want to think Neanderthal, but then you think about why hasn't why haven't they been seen, more as? And another thing is and another thing, how come no one has ever found any bones?
And that's something I can. So the main three categories of what we consider Bigfoot, there's many out there, but the main three categories are Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and Yeti. Mm-hmm. And they're actually all of the same species, but
He'll be back in just a second. We lost Shane for a minute.
I figured. But I want to let him know the story, so I'll wait for him if that's okay.
Yeah, I'll take a minute and say thank you for coming on the show. When I contacted you, I was like, oh, yeah, Tom's a great guest.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
All right, there we are.
That's all right. We waited for you to continue.
You all disappeared.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We were still here. We didn't see you. So again, that's probably me. I apologize.
It's probably me too.
Whenever I start to speak on anything cryptid, paranormal abilities, whatever else, my energy amps up and I have a tendency to break things. And the nerdy side of me knows also that we just had a huge sun spike. So it's starting to affect everything because it was reverse polarization sun spike that actually came the other direction of what we're used to. So it didn't spin the same way as our Earth rotation does. So it actually has a stronger ability to come through. So therefore, it can affect more things. All right, there's Professor Tom done. He's done with that lecture. So Bigfoot, Yeti, Sasquatch are the three main that people call them. But that's just, if anyone knows anything about shoulder-launched missiles, that's like calling all the missiles a Stinger. There's actually 16 or 18 different variants of what's known as a Stinger missile, but everyone calls them Stinger because that's just the general name they know. Janet. I'm sorry, I'm also turning into.
He's used to pushing the buttons too.
I am. So I'm reading it ahead of time. And that's exactly what I was going to talk about, Janet. So good question. And Janet's asking, do you think Bigfoot and UFOs are connected? Because just in case Shane can't see what's going on.
Right.
So my belief is that the reason we don't see them is because they are another extraterrestrial species. Now, from my
what the Bigfoot,
Sasquatch. Now I'm going to explain that to y'all too because I'm giving them three different names for a reason. They're not the same person. They're not the same. They're the same interspecies, but not the same species. Bigfoot and Sasquatch are peaceful. They're peaceful tribes, whereas Yeti are bred to be war. They're the ones that you'll find that are the most dangerous. They're the ones that will attack on sight. They don't need a reason to attack humans. They just know that they will attack humans because humans are seen as being bad.
Well, they're in very remote areas too.
Yeti are the ones that you'll mostly find up in like the Russian or the Ural Mountains or something like
Alaska.
Very snowbound. Sasquatch is actually found up in Alaska.
Okay.
So, and now understand that back when the Bering Strait actually connected Russia with the U.S. way back when.
Pangaea.
That was actually when that crossing happened. So now we have both on both sides, but they come through portals. That's why we don't find anything, is because they come through portals. We see them And when we see them in the forests, when we see them as a glimmer or as a shimmer or as not a clear picture, that's one of their defense mechanisms. That's why our cameras, even though they are fantastic right now, we can't get clear pictures of them, because that's one of their defense mechanisms, to make it blurry when we try to take pictures of them. But when we see them, they are literally going from one portal location to another. And that's why we don't find bones. That's why that's why footprints just stop. That's why there's a lot of things that happen, because they're not from here. They're actually extraterrestrial. So Janet, yes, in a way they are tied to UFOs, but they're actually using portal systems to jump through, to go from one place to another.
Wow.
I've actually talked to somebody who has gridded out locations, and they talked about how they can use different wavelength glasses, and they can actually see the portals open and close at times. And something is presumably there at that time, or it is just left at that time. So
I also heard that they have built-in cloaking mechanisms.
that's the shimmer. That's the shimmer ability. That's what makes it hard to see. As far as going completely invisible, if anyone watched the Alien versus Predator, the Predator ability, where it still looks like a wave of, like, almost like a wave, that's the effect. They can't go completely invisible. It's not a complete cloaking capability. It is a partial, but it's enough to fool us and to make us look for what we're so used to looking for, tangible items. You know, I can see my fingers because they're there. So there's a lot of things there that they use to their benefit that us simple-minded aren't used to seeing or don't know how to look for it. But they kind of share the same. Like I said, they're the same genus group. And I try to explain this to people the way I do elementals. There's earth elementals, but not all of them look like rocks. They're cousins of each other. That does not mean at all they get along with each other, which is exactly the same way Bigfoot, Sasquatch, skunk ape, Yeti, any of those, some get along, some don't. They have to protect their nations. Excuse me, just as we do. But it's the same way with different elementals. If you look at an earth elemental and you're in like a mountainous region, rocks and everything else, you'll see the big bulky rock ones that you see that are slower. But if you're in a mountainous area or in a forested area, then they look more like the tree ones you'd expect to see. But they're both earth elementals. They're both from the same thought process, same makeup, but a little bit about their DNA is different, and the way they live amongst each other or apart from each other is also different. And that's how it works.
How long do you think they've actually been around, and why haven't we been able to, now I used to have a book called Behold a Pale White Horse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever read that before, but it was from a naval briefing intelligence officer. Mm-hmm. And he did a lecture. He did a lecture on the government actually knowing where they are. But I'm just saying, we see the footprints, we see things that we really can't explain, but to be as big as they are, how are they invincible? Like where you can't catch them, you can't see them.
Looks are very deceiving. They are a much. There's no other way to say it, but they are a much more evolved and superior creature than what we are. They know how to do what they do. They have been around longer than we have, much longer than we have. Sorry, when this happens, this is because I'm getting information. Their planets are older than our planets are. They're not even in our same universe. They're outside of our universe, so they jump through, like I said, portals. A lot of us would call them wormholes, or we'll call them whatever, but they come through different patterns than what we're used to. That's why we don't see them come and go. If we do see them, it's just because we're right in the right space, right place at the right time. If you ever see the shows where they talk about how they banged on people, were in their they were in their RV or wherever else, and they heard the banging on them and everything else, and they thought it was a Bigfoot. That's possible. I don't doubt that. There's been too many. Yeah, Nathaniel, exactly. Like an interdimensional being, exactly. The fact when they pull hair and they can't identify the species from what it came from is completely understandable, because they're not from here. It's not like something we've seen. Just like when we find some alloys that don't seem to be from the earth, and it just happens to be by where a possible sighting of a ship went down or something along those lines. It's not here, so they don't know how to identify it because there's nothing to identify it based off of. When they look at their DNA patterns are different than ours. That's when you start looking at stuff like starseeds. A lot of starseeds have like an RNA pattern in them or something else. It's a different DNA pattern in it compared to what we have.
Well, them having fur, wouldn't they be a mammal? Wouldn't they have warm blood?
Yes, to a point. Their mammal patterns is not called mammal patterns where they're at. Ours are, because that's just simply the scientific.
How we identify it.
Right, that we identified it as. But there is a very strong similarity the way they take care of their family, because they live in communities, they live in groups. The term "it takes a village," it's literally what they do as well. And there's a lot of and I've seen a lot of both sides of this, thanks to my heritage, is that I know a lot of the discussions about indigenous people seeing Bigfoot, or what they would relate as Bigfoot, and it's just a hairy man or something along those lines that they've seen from way back when as well. And they actually were giving indigenous persons ways to do things. They were teaching them ways how to do things. So their knowledge base and their advances are much greater than ours. The problem is they look like they're big, hairy, furry, and we instantly relate that to a lesser species. We relate that back to like a gorilla or an animal or something, something
Right.
along those lines, which is false.
Right.
That's purely an esoteric thing brought on by humans.
So they're not primate.
They're not primate. They are not primate. The fur that can't be identified is because that is their protection for what they need it for. What it is, I don't 100% know. But with the warring factions, it does help identify certain features that they have, and basically what group is part of what group. But it is very much it is our flaw to think that we should be able to catch a Bigfoot or anything along those lines simply based off of because we think we're superior to them. If we were in a location of one of their communities, that is a true statement, Nathan. Absolutely. But then we would definitely be like a deer compared to when we hunt. When we hunt deer, it would be the other way around. We are the lesser. We are not the top of the food chain when it comes to that.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
We're not it. So a lot of people think of the smarter beings, there's smarter species, the smarter whatever, as if we compared us to aliens, well, they can talk to us through telepathy and everything else and stuff like that. They have these real cool looking skin that just bald bodies with these huge eyes, and so they must be smart, they must be intelligent, because the eyes make us think of glasses. It gives us that perception of what we tie everything into with our sight. But that's our fallacy. That's our problem for looking at it that way. I'm sure that when a lot of people turned on the screen and saw this big furry guy sitting on your screen, this guy right here, instant perceptions were made, which is perfectly fine. This is actually on purpose, because there's certain groups that I'm happy they don't know what I do for a living, or that I have an intelligence. So mine is by design, also for what I used to do for a living too. So I just kind of hung on to some of it. But a lot of people will instantly look at me and go, he's a blue collar worker. He probably has a high school education, probably good with his hands, beer drinker, sports watcher, stuff like that. I graduated high school when normal people would have done it being in 10th grade, and I have a degree in theoretical statistics of mathematical statistics, or mathematical statistics in theory. So it's a look, it's a persona that everyone will instantly look at you and judge you instantly from your looks. That's the same way it is with when we look at Bigfoot, when we look at Sasquatch, when we look at Yeti, when we look at pretty much anything that's not of this universe, or anywhere, our mind instantly turns into what we know of in a human form, what we would compare it to. And that's our fault. And
like our thought on highest intelligence, like we try to classify it, to the best of what we can.
Right.
But it's really you really can't do that.
There's no way, shape, or form. Our one problem we run into is that we instantly, even if you don't know you do it, it's a subconscious reaction. You instantly give an instant judgment to somebody based off of how they look.
Right.
It's not to say that people are rude about it or anything else. It's just how the whole human process has been brought up. That's how we knew who to war against way back when in the ages. That's how we knew who this person was or anything else. How did they dress?
Yeah.
Did they dress like royalty? Then they were royalty. Did they dress like peasants? Then they were peasants. So that's why even the simplest of stories, when you go out and you watch these wonderful movies about how the princess goes walking through the locals and no one knows she's a princess because she's dressed down like a peasant. Well, that's our perception of what she's supposed to look like. And that's how it takes on a lot of the persona when we look at creatures outside of us. Sorry,
perception of reality.
Yeah, Nathan put up a question. I'm sorry. Is it okay to call you Nathan? Because you have Nathaniel on here. I just want to make sure.
Yeah. Of course. That's.
I'm
just making
sure. Yeah.
I'm just making sure. Okay. So he says, Tom, question in your opinion on the theory that Bigfoot is interdimensional. Would Bigfoot encounters fall under the premise of a CE5 close encounter of the fifth kind experience? I would say yes. It's definitely not something that we would consider. The way you prefaced it is perfect. This is going to be something that at some point. So when I got to see if I can preface this the right way. Sorry. If the first time that we are introduced to an alien species formally, it will be something along the lines that looks like the Greys, but it will not be the Greys. It will be more along the lines of one of the Starseeds, one of the Starseeds groups. But after that, then we're going to be starting to be introduced to the other interdimensional species that are out there. Once we understand that we can handle it, once they understand we can handle it, once we actually can handle it. Right. Once it first happens, fear is going to break out rapidly.
Do you think that we have access to those other dimensions? Because, like, we have CERN and whatever, and I have heard that they have a portal, like a gigantic portal that's there that they have been trying to reach that other dimensions. Now, do you think that that is more on a paranormal dimension, or would it be like a mirror kind of?
So you saw my video of a portal.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's more along the lines of that. But the difference is, again, it's not of a light force or light source that we can see them coming in and out of. It is outside of our light spectrum. That's why we don't see it happening. I have this wonderful gift that I learned I had, and I can actually see portals. Like for the paranormal portals, I can actually see them, and for me, they shimmer. I can see where they're at, and they shimmer to me like water. That's a newer one, probably like 2 years old now. But I can't see these, so they're on a different wavelength that I can't pick up. So it is an advancement that we have not understood yet, and I don't know if we ever will, unless we're actually introduced to the species that created it. No, you're good, Nathan. But that's there's a lot of things that we can't even fathom yet that's going to happen once we're introduced to any kind of species, and that's going to be something that is going to take a while for a lot of people to grasp. And unfortunately, for most people, it will be a fear. It will not be an understanding. It will just instantly turn it into a hate and a fear.
Yeah, because anything that we can't master right off, as being, because we have this complexity about us that we are the top of the food chain, that we are, and if anything comes in to try to disrupt that way of thinking,
right,
then we're going to retaliate against that.
And I try to tell people, you want to know how this works? Go live in Alaska. When you're in Alaska, you're not the top of the food chain anymore. Even though it's something as basic as that, you're not. When you walk out the door in Alaska in some remote locations, you are no longer the top of the food chain. You are not predator, you are prey. And that's just how it is. And that's the difference to where when we get introduced to these things, mm-hmm. we're going to have that predator-prey response rather than an educational response. And that's where we're going to damage ourselves the most, is because a lot of people will retaliate, just as you said, because they're thinking, oh, we're no longer predator, now we're prey. How do we defend ourselves and make us the top?
Right.
What do we do to get us back to the top of the food chain again? Because I don't like being second to anything. And so, I mean, we're not first in anything right now, and simple life things that people live through or die from identifies that, called bacteria. Diseases. Those are top of the food chain type of things that people think that we have control over, but COVID showed us you really don't. And all the other ones that have been throughout history, the Black Plague, all the different ones that spread through, they identify, look, it's time to thin the herd. You are not the top of the food chain, and we're about to enlighten you. And that's when nature takes over science and goes, we're going to show you how this is really done.
Right.
And then science goes, crap, now we really got to work harder to try to beat nature. And that's just not ever going to happen if nature actually really wants to take over. And it's the same thing with how we interpret our cryptids. We think we're superior to them when we're not even close. We're not even on the same line as them. We're not running parallel to them at all. They are multiple steps ahead of us. And it's just the way it is because there's no we don't know how they do what they do, so we don't know how to replicate it, so we don't know how to catch up with them. So the fact that people see cryptids, Bigfoot, Yeti, Sasquatch, whatever you want to call them, the fact they see them is a timing thing. Either they wanted you to know that something's there, mm-hmm. or you caught them going from portal to portal. And
you got people that really have, and they aren't welcomed. Like a lot of people that have seen them and had encounters. And there's one guy that I can't remember where it was in another country. He literally woke up from a campsite with a mom, a dad, a child, Sasquatch.
Yeah.
And like people were thinking that this guy is like absolutely crazy.
Right.
But how would we be able to know? I mean, what? Hook him up to a lie detector test, and if he passes it, then what do we do?
They did the same thing with the
alien thing. Yep.
Exactly. That's the same thing they did to them, and they passed, and we still didn't believe them. So what's the point? I mean, they said, "Look, this is what
where
happened."
do you go from there? Where do you go from there?
Exactly. I mean, if you're not going to believe the technology that we have to prove that somebody's right, then why even attempt it? If every single one of them passed, and every one of them had the same story, and every one of them lived through the same thing, and we still went, nah, maybe not, then what do you do with that? I mean, how do you prove the truth if finding out the truth isn't good enough for you? And that person, his truth is, I saw them. Our truth would have to be, well, prove it. Well, how? Well, go to a lie detector. Okay, you passed the lie detector, but how did you beat the lie detector? Because it was my truth. But no, how did you? And that's that big ugly circle we get into is we've lost. And it's I can't say it's not by anyone else's fault. It's our own fault that we've lost the trust in others. And to believe in what they say, we have to confirm everything now. But there's no way to just simply walk up and say, you know what? I believe what you said. Like, what makes you think that way? Why did you say that? What makes you right over me? What is your proof over mine that your truth is stronger than mine? And we've lost that humanity, and the best way to say it, of taking truth at face value.
Well, even Jesus told his disciples when he was there, he goes, why would I tell you about heavenly things when you can't even believe the earthly things that are right here in front of you?
Right. Yeah, Nathan put up there. Travis Walton was hooked up, I believe, to 3 different lie detector machines and passed every single one.
Every one of them.
Yet still people do not believe his story. Absolutely. And that's what it is. And even Christy says there's 3 sides to the truth. Sorry, I just got blocked. 3 sides to the truth, but there aren't versions. Sorry, that's my that's my show host knowledge of reading the messages coming through. I apologize.
No, don't. Do
you
your thing. I have no problem.
I do that because since I'm a one-man show, I got to read everything as I'm doing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm used to picking up on the messages before normally they're posted. So I apologize, but yeah, and that's what a lot of the problems we run into. But there's so many other cryptids out there that a lot of us hit on the same ones. We hit on Loch Ness, we hit on Mothman, we hit on skunk ape. For some people, do they hit on Bigfoot? They hit on Yeti, but they don't talk about Ashawa, or they don't talk about a lot of the other ones. Well, Ashawa is actually an indigenous one that lives underwater, but in South America. So, but the problem is, a lot of the South American cultures believe in this, but we don't. We just call them drownings. The kid drowned. Well, no, the Ashawa came and took him. Well, no, that can't be. Why not? Because I've never seen one.
There's lots that believe that about that
There's a
child.
lot we haven't seen also. So yeah.
But there's so many that are out there that people don't get big enough names. But there's a lot of different type of cryptid out there. The chupacabra is known as a cryptid, and people have seen 2 or 3 different versions of that, but science calls it a mangy dog. But I don't care how manged a dog is, that formation does not exist in our natural existence.
No, it does not. No, it does not. There's no way.
Right. And so it's I don't care how deformed you get, the fact that it has more ribs than it should, and the fact that its spine is longer than it should be, and it comes down to a straight pointed tail that should
and it's got way more teeth.
Right. And it has different teeth. And there's just too many fallacies that can be proven, but yet we're still wanted. There's everyone is still wanting, and when I say everyone, I'm pretty much talking government right now, wants to leave us in the dark and say, no, that's just a mangy dog. And hey, by the way, science company A, we're going to go ahead and give you $200 million towards research to keep that quiet. And so all of a sudden, they're like, oh yeah, it is a mangy dog. We're a science company. We must say that. We'll tell you the truth, liars. So
right.
There's a lot of them that are out there that people don't even know about, or they don't know the in depth of them, or they don't know what the story is behind them. Or they don't recognize that that's actually a cryptid or what it is. They call it something else. They call it. I mean, right now, even the most recent news, they're starting to find dogs with blue hair in Chernobyl. And so now they're trying to come up with a scientific reason why that blue hair exists. And I think they have one, but is it the truth? There's also a moss that is a fungus that is growing on the walls.
Well, Chernobyl, when they have like chemical diluting and things like that.
They should, but over so much time now, what is it that is
still there?
And they found this fungus. They found a moss growing in there, and it is either a brown or like an iridescent or just a straight up black. But it feeds. So any other moss that you put out in the world, and you expose it to that much radiation, because of the lack of the air and because of the lack of anything that goes to it, it will die. If you radiate this, it actually gets stronger now. It actually feeds off the radiation. It becomes more active and it grows faster. So
you also have plants that are attracted to radiation that actually collect radiation.
That's what these do. That's exactly what this does. This is what the new fungus does that they're finding out in Chernobyl. So there's a lot of things out there that could turn other things into other things if eaten. Now, are those going to be identified as cryptid because of the change, or are they just going to be identified as a scientific anomaly, which is most likely what they'll write it off as? So the discussion of cryptid is really interesting because not all cryptid. So I mentioned the ones we keep referring back to, I believe, are interdimensional, but I do not believe all cryptids are interdimensional. I believe some of them have lived here for millennia, way longer than we have. And I think some of them are things that have outlived past nature, and all of a sudden it's coming to life again, or we're all of a sudden finding it again because our sonar is better, or because this is better, whatever. We're finding things down at the bottom of the ocean because we're going deeper and deeper into the dark that we're like, holy crap, where did this come from? Would we classify those as a cryptid? In any other world now, but where do they come from? So it just kind of depends on what we're calling a cryptid, where they're coming from, what's the classification of it, how do they relate to what we assume they are. And Christy just said evolution. Well, yeah, there's evolution, but there's also scientific creation. Not on purpose, even though some of it is on purpose, but some of it is simply because of the natural consequences of what had happened to the earth that are all of a sudden creating these new creations. So it just depends on where you want to go with that.
Now, do you think like the elements, water, air, wind, earth, things like that? Do you think that there's cryptids and portals and stuff like that for those elements also?
No. So earth, wind, water, fire, and metal, the 5 elementals that I talk to on a daily basis, they are from basically the beginning of the existence of time. They are before the known 7, before the amazing 7. And
that's the geometric spectrum too.
And this year is where my 2 forms of my 2 lifelines come from, and they overlap a lot. Christy said spirit. Yes, don't forget metal, please. There's also metal. But they're beyond old. They are not from another dimension. They were created by the creator to help kind of manage everything, to control it, to be a balance. All of those together work in a perfect harmony and a perfect balance. And this is believed both on indigenous as well as north side of the house, that they were designed to be the balance of the universe, of the universes, period. And when we identify that Mars used to have water on its surface, that is because it became the end of its balance. That balance was over to allow something else to happen somewhere else. So it's a perfect balance is what they're calling it. The ether, perfect word for it, Christy. Thank you. Okay. But that's why they're brought in. That's why they're known. That's why they work together. But again, they do not all look like each other. I mean, they don't like I said, not all earth elementals all look like big rocky, big like me. They don't. They have all their different kin. They have all their different cousins, and different branches and everything else. And they all work in their own manner, but they will work together. And the perfect example of this, I hate to say it this way, but the California fires happened for a reason. And at that point is when fire and water, or fire and wind, decided to get together and say, look, you have had 7 years. You have had 7 years
right
to clean out your mess, and you have been given billions of dollars to clean out your mess. And you're not doing it. And the earth said, that was your warning that we were presenting to you, that you need to clean up your mess. You're not. Our turn. And that's why all of a sudden you had the fires kick in. And that's why the winds that you've never seen at that speed kick into that speed. That's because those two elementals were working together to wipe out the areas that could not grow, could not produce nature anymore because they were being choked out. So they did their job. And then once you'll notice a certain part of it, enough of it got cleaned out. What happened? It rained. So the water elemental stepped in and said, okay, we've cleaned out enough. We've warned them. We've cleaned it out. We're going to go ahead and help take care of it for them. We're going to calm the winds down, which they dropped really far together. And then water came in and did its job. And then right after that, the federal government came in and said, you did not do this. This is your fault, California, for not cleaning this out if we gave you all your money. Now you got to go clean out and fix the damages. And they still haven't fixed the damages. So I am literally just waiting for the next one. I'm waiting for, we've just seen 2 big earthquakes. We've seen a 7.0 earthquake in Alaska, Canada, and we just had one off of the eastern side of Japan. Something is stirring over in the west side in the Pacific Ocean along the area that I think is about to happen. Because this is just the rumblings. This is the earth.
A lot of these things match Bible prophecy too.
They absolutely do. And they will warn you ahead of time. We've been given plenty of warning. The elementals give us plenty of warning. Now, the whole thing that people have a hard time understanding about the elementals are not conscious beings like we are. If they are trying to fix a piece of the earth, and you build your home on that piece of earth, they don't give a crap that you're building a home there. They will destroy your home. I know this because I had a friend of mine contact me because he knows who I speak to. And he goes, Tom, I'm trying to build a house and my foundation is cracked 3 times. What's going on? So I said, all right, hold on. So I reached back out to him a little later and I said, they cleared away a lot of your land in order to build this tract housing on, right? I mean, this land that you guys can build houses on, right? He said, yes. I'm like, so, have you put anything in the ground yet to show that you're going to help heal the earth yet? He's like, no, I'm building a house. And I'm like, plant your shrubbery and your trees first where you're going to put them and then start building your house.
Yeah. Add life. Don't take away life.
Correct. And he did that and he poured his foundation. It didn't crack. He's like, what the hell? I'm like, they see that you're willing to help heal the earth, not just take away from it. So it's going to allow you to live there knowing that you will help support its earth, what it is.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
They won't. You can say, hey, you need to stop doing this because you're hurting my feelings. They're like, so I don't have those feelings that humans have. I am built, I am designed, I have been brought in from the creator to do my job. You were never here. I don't care about you. I could give two craps about you because you mean absolutely nothing to me. I am doing what the creator told me to do. Whoever your creator is, understand I use creator as a very general term. Because I know that there's a lot of different beliefs about a creator, a God, whatever. I just use it as a general term to cover whatever religion you believe. But this is what is brought in. This is what they were designed for way before people existed, way before animals existed, way before a lot of things existed. So that's not what they're built for. They do not have a human conscience. They have a direction and a need. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to do exactly what they're needed for. So they may be nice enough to say, hey, we understand that you don't know that you're doing this wrong, so we're going to give you a warning. And then all of a sudden they're like, you aren't supposed to be here. We're going to do our job now. And that's what they do. So that's a lot of what the elementals work with. They have this. If you can ever hold a conversation with an elemental, they're almost childlike. They're very simplistic, focused in what they do. Exactly. They do not know emotions. And that's what it is. And they're very childlike because they will talk to you, but they will not stop working. I had one. I don't know how much. I got like a minute left.
Yeah. We definitely do. Yeah.
You're fine with me. But, he has a show soon, so I know.
Yeah, I got 15 minutes till I got to hit into mine, so I'm fine because mine starts at 7. I just told the guy I'd be there by 6:45, so we're good. I'm just on your guys' time right now. But when I first met my first elemental, I had to go clear a house, and the lady thought she had a haunting, and I walked in and I said, "Oh, you have an elemental here." And she just said, "A what?" I go, "You have an elemental." So I went down to the basement. The house had been flipped, but no one repaired the basement. It was still in shambles. The ground was ripped up, everything else. It was terrible. And I walked down in. There's 2 separate areas of this basement. One was finished. The other part wasn't. And I walked into the unfinished part. I actually had my wife and like 3-4 other people with me, and they were trying to film it. And the battery juice got sucked out of all 3 batteries we had when I walked into the room. And I said, "You guys can't come in here. Stay out here, but record it, do whatever you want to, but don't come into the room with me." And I walked in and the elemental ran. And I went, "Why are you running from me?" And this is what I found really interesting. And this is how I know I'm old. Is because when the elemental ran from me, the elemental told me, "Your essence is older than I am." And I went, "Oh crap, that explains a lot of the gray. That explains a lot of the gray beard here." And so I had to have a discussion because when the elemental was working, it was so gregarious in its power and its strength that it was putting out that it was just the feeling of it was making the person who lived there anxious, like almost heart palpitations and just always on edge and everything else. And she thought it was because she was being haunted. And I said, "No, it's because of this elemental." So I had a discussion with the elemental, and it threw rocks at me. We actually have that, like the people that are outside, they see these rocks come flying from one room to the other. And it threw rocks at me, trying to hit me to get me to run away and to get scared. And I wouldn't. So we had a discussion, and after explaining that the person who lives there now is not the same person who flipped it, the person who lived there now is very loving, very, very nature based and everything else. We made an agreement that as long as she brought down like flowers to help make it pretty and everything else and give kind of like offerings, wheat and whatever else and rice and stuff like that, then it would tone itself down, but it would continue to work. By doing that, I allowed her to connect with it. And now they actually talk. She can actually talk to this one elemental that lives there now. And she went outside and she planted impatiens out the window and everything else. And she brought in flowers downstairs and everything else. And she said, "I can still feel him, but it is a very warm and welcoming feeling." And he likes her a lot because she plays bass, she plays guitar, she plays piano, she plays harp. She's very artistic. And he likes that.
Cohabiting.
He likes that. Yeah, he likes that vibe in her house. So they get along fantastically now. But that was actually my first run-in with an elemental head-on like that. And for him to tell me your essence is older than I am kind of took me back a second. And I was like, what does that mean? And I had to ask others. And I actually had a very old medicine man up in Canada tell me what that meant. So that was pretty interesting to let me know that my lives go back that many, that I have lived that many different lives. So
that's fascinating. Tom, I know we're at the top of the hour and everything. Can you tell everybody how to get a hold of you and where to find you?
Sure. So what the funny thing is, right after I leave here, I actually go over and I'm going to do my show. And
Please tune into his show, guys.
Yeah, it's called
Yes.
Stuff I Never Learned from a School Book. Everything is listed under Stuff I Never Learned. I am on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. Right now, those are the only two I'm running on is Facebook and YouTube. It's just, if you look up Stuff I Never Learned, my show starts at 7:00 tonight Central. And if you want to reach me, I always implore people, if you have questions, reach out, because a lot of people that come in late, what you also don't know is I am a psychic, I'm a medium, I'm an elementalist, I'm a healer. I can actually push healing energy anywhere in the world. I'm an energy giver. I'm like an Energizer bunny. I don't run out, but I can supply energy for others, as well as
He
some of the
absolutely
stuff
is.
Yeah, I really am.
Absolutely.
As well as some of the stuff we talked to about here. So if you have questions, if you reach out and you have a question, you can always go through Shane or Gwen and ask them to get in touch with me. Or you can just contact me directly at stuffineverlearned@gmail.com. The easiest way to get a hold of me. And that's where I'm at. That's where I live. Is
Awesome. Tom, I mean, I could talk to you forever, man. And this has been such a good hour, man. I really thank you for coming on. And
great.
I thank you for sharing your knowledge with us about this, because this fascinates me.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I just want to give a quick plug to anyone who comes over to watch my show tonight. I have on a gentleman. His name is Kenneth Drake, and he's actually known as the celebrity psychic. Yeah, he's a celebrity psychic. He's actually coming on to be on my show tonight. So, yep. Yeah,
you guys please tune into his show. Everybody that's watching here, tune into it, because this is an interesting guy right here.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Tom, well, I appreciate you being on, man, and thank you for being on the show. And it's been a blast having you on. And I'd like to have you back for a round 2.
You tell Gwen over there when to sign me up, and I'll be on. Apparently, she has me making the rounds on all you guys' shows right now. So.
Well,
I'm trying
to bring you to the dark side. My podcasters.
I already am the dark side. I already am the dark side. Look at me.
Well, Tom, thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming on, brother. And I really appreciate it. It's been a blast. Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. I'm gonna drop you down. Have a good night. Okay.
See ya.
Well, guys, that's Tom Springer. Yeah, you're right. He's fascinating, and his knowledge level is like way beyond. So I mean, you guys please check out his show. Go check him out. Show him some love, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. But thank you guys for being on. Thank you guys for sticking it out, being here with me. Just staying with me through all this, and I love you all, and you guys stay safe, be blessed always, and stay spooky, people. Peace.